Hi, this is Alan Schimmel at DevOps.com interviewing Sam Guckenheimer of Microsoft at the DevOps Enterprise Summit 2015. Sam, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Alan. Nice to be here.
So Sam, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about what you spoke about here at DevOps Enterprise?
Well, the title was From COTS to Cloud, the inside story of Visual Studio Online. The gist of the talk was about what we have learned as a software provider, going from providing software that customers install to being a SaaS provider, software as a service provider, and having to deliver both at once. So we think there's 7 habits or practices that we've had to be really good at. 3 of those are, if you will, Agile on steroids, and 4 of them really are new with DevOps. And so I double-clicked into sort of the soft and hard sides of those, you know,
Sure.
the cultural and the technical, and talked about how we apply those, what they are, and then demoed some of the things that we're productizing out of that.
Excellent. And Sam, I just happen to know, actually Microsoft's a sponsor of DevOps.com, and so I'm slightly privy and nothing confidential about some of the great strides that Microsoft internally is making to adopt DevOps. And it's not easy. A company the size of Microsoft, like many of the companies here today, are large companies with large legacy systems.
Yeah.
In your particular case, how important was top-down sponsorship or top-down support?
Well, I think it's both top-down and bottoms-up. Okay, so I think right now we have, in the case of Satya Nadella, the CEO, someone who really deeply believes in what he calls life-site culture. So the idea that site status is always probably 1, the idea that root cause remediation, in other words, not just bouncing the site back up, but finding proactively all of the reasons why availability is an issue, performance is an issue, usage isn't what it could be, all of those things as a cultural change is very dear to his heart. We develop mobile first, cloud first. We have really turned the culture around under Satya. Now at the same time, there's a groundswell movement that had begun in pockets of the organization. So you sort of see this convergence between, Satya's leadership, Scott Guthrie in Cloud and Enterprise, where I work, and then you see, you know, this huge engineering embrace of this is how we want to work.
Sure. And Sam, this is the first year you've attended DevOps Enterprise
No, I
Summit?
spoke last year, actually.
Oh, you spoke, so you're a repeat.
Yeah.
Can you share with our audience what do you see as some of the biggest differences from this year to last year?
Well, it's of course larger this year. I think last year there was a little bit of, is this for us? You know, are we horses, are we unicorns? That kind of discussion and so forth. And I think it's this year, it's how do we not go to the glue factory?
How do we not get left behind as a dinosaur?
Yeah, it's really, I think, you know, there's no longer a question, are these mainstream practices? Are these things that need to be embraced? Are these learnings that we need to observe and, you know, and internalize? I think it's really it's a complete shift. I think it's very much like, you know, Agile, say around 2007, 2008, when people said, "Hey, those teams are performing better.
Right.
We need to perform like them."
So that brings me to my last question then, Sam. What do you see happening in the next 3 to 5 years in this realm?
Well, in the cultural I'm going to give you two answers, a cultural and a technical, okay? So on the cultural side, I think a lot of the mythology about needing to have separate roles as opposed to common competencies, a lot of that mythology is going to dissipate. For example, in our HR system, we decided that there was an engineering track, not separate developer and test tracks. However, we also realized that one of the things engineers need to do, or some engineers need to do, is site reliability engineering, which is something that we needed to build muscle in. So I think that you'll see a lot of that convergence and more working together across historical silos. On the technical side, you see a lot of interest in better ways to get lightweight and faster, like containerization. You see better use of telemetry. You see, of course, automation everywhere in the both in the release pipeline and in the amplified feedback, both from ops to dev, so that people can do hypothesis-driven backlogs in a serious way. I think that that whole culture of working from hypotheses and understanding that that is a core of DevOps is something that is just dawning, so that we have build, measure, learn converging with the practices that were at the release pipeline level, and people come together and realize that that circle closes.
Got it. Excellent. Okay, Sam, thank you very much for not only speaking this year, but speaking last year as well. It's people like you that make DevOps Enterprise Summit what it is. So on behalf of Electric Cloud and IT Revolution and DevOps.com, thank you very much.
Thanks
Look
a lot,
forward
Alan.
to seeing you next year at DevOps Enterprise Summit 2016.
Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Alan Schimmel, DevOps.com. Sam Guckenheimer, Microsoft.